Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we're diving into the thrilling twists awaiting us in the Friday, October 3rd, 2025 episode. Get ready for a roller coaster of drama as familiar faces collide in unexpected ways, secrets bubble to the surface, and alliances form amid simmering tensions. We'll break it all down, exploring how these developments could reshape Port Charles for weeks to come. Let's kick things off with the enigmatic introduction of Veronica Ronnie Bard into Sonny Corinthos' orbit. As the notorious mob boss navigates his complex web of relationships, he finds himself crossing paths with this intriguing newcomer. Picture Sonny, ever the gentleman despite his rough edges, making a deliberate stop at the Quartermaine mansion. His primary goal? Offering heartfelt condolences to Monica Quartermaine during what must be a trying time for her family. But here's where it gets juicy. Despite the long-standing feud with Tracy Quartermaine, who has never hidden her disdain for Sonny's criminal empire, he pushes forward with this gesture of respect. It's a bold move that underscores Sonny's code of honor, even in the face of hostility. Enter Ronnie, Monica's long-lost sister, who steps into the spotlight during this visit. Their conversation sparks immediately, with Ronnie boldly declaring that she's not one to be intimidated by Tracy's sharp tongue or manipulative tactics. Imagine the sparks flying as they exchange stories, Ronnie sharing her own frustrations with Tracy's overbearing ways and Sonny nodding in agreement, his eyes lighting up at the shared grievance. Could this be the start of an unlikely bond? Fans are buzzing about the potential for these two to team up, perhaps forming a subtle alliance against Tracy's iron-fisted control over family matters. Tracy, after all, has made no secret of her contempt for both the mob world Sonny represents and this surprise sibling who's upended the Quartermaine dynamics, adding a layer of intrigue. Ronnie might reveal a hidden backstory from her years away, hinting at past run-ins with powerful figures that mirror Sonny's own experiences. This meeting isn't just a casual chat. It could plant the seeds for future power plays, where Ronnie's fresh perspective helps Sonny navigate the Quartermaine chaos, or vice versa. As viewers, we're left wondering if this connection will evolve into a strategic partnership or fizzle out under Tracy's watchful eye. Shifting gears to the intense interrogation scene unfolding at the Metro Court, Carly Spencer finds herself under the microscope courtesy of Police Commissioner Anna Devane. Anna, with her no-nonsense approach honed from years in law enforcement, corners Carly with pointed questions about recent suspicious events in Port Charles. But Carly, the resilient hotel magnate who's weathered countless storms, isn't about to take it lying down. Her frustration boils over as she snaps back, essentially telling Anna to focus on real police work instead of targeting the usual suspects like herself or her inner circle. "Why don't you do your job and stop trying to pin it on the obvious suspects?" Carly retorts, her voice laced with defiance that echoes her history of standing up to authority. This exchange highlights Carly's protective instincts, especially when it comes to shielding her family from undue scrutiny. Perhaps Carly draws on memories of past injustices, like the times she's been wrongly accused in the midst of Sonny's troubles, fueling her sharp comeback. Anna, undeterred, might press further, probing into Carly's alibis or connections. But Carly's quick wit keeps her one step ahead. This confrontation could ripple outward, straining the already tense relationship between the Spencers and the law, and maybe even drawing in other characters who overhear the heated words. Will Anna back off? Or will this push Carly to rally her allies for a counter-offensive? It's a pivotal moment that reminds us of Carly's unyielding spirit, forged in the fires of Port Charles' endless dramas. Meanwhile, tensions escalate in the Quartermaine household as Tracy Quartermaine turns her investigative gaze toward Michael Corinthos regarding the mysterious Jacinda Breckel. Tracy, ever the shrewd matriarch with a knack for sniffing out deception, corners Michael with probing questions about Jacinda's involvement in recent family upheavals. But Michael, displaying the steely resolve he's inherited from both his parents, refuses to crumble under the pressure. Instead of confessing or backpedaling, he flips the script, daring Tracy to take her suspicions straight to the authorities. If she's so convinced of his dishonesty, this bold challenge adds a new dimension to their dynamic, showcasing Michael's growth from a young executive to a formidable player in the family power games. Perhaps Michael subtly references past Quartermaine scandals to deflect, reminding Tracy that no one in their circle is without skeletons. Jacinda, as a wild card figure, might be tied to broader plots involving corporate intrigue or hidden agendas, and Michael's defense could hint at deeper loyalties he's protecting. Tracy's reaction? A mix of irritation and reluctant admiration, as she weighs whether to escalate or bide her time. This standoff not only heightens the suspense, but also sets the stage for potential betrayals or revelations that could fracture the fragile peace within the Quartermaines. Now, onto one of the episode's most heart-pounding moments, Rick Lansing's shocking assault on Alexis Davis. As Alexis, the brilliant attorney who's no stranger to peril, dozes off on her couch in a rare moment of vulnerability, Rick seizes the opportunity with chilling intent. He approaches stealthily, pressing a knife to her throat in a bid to silence her or exact some twisted revenge perhaps. Tied to their convoluted history of legal battles and personal betrayals, the tension is palpable, with Rick's face twisted in determination, reflecting years of pent-up grudges. But fate intervenes in the form of Ava Jerome, whose impeccable timing turns the tide. Ava, with her own survival instincts sharpened by a life of schemes and close calls, bursts in and subdues Rick Mabe with a swift improvised weapon or a clever distraction that catches him off guard. This heroic act not only saves Alexis' life, but also cements a surprising bond between the two women, who might share a knowing glance amid the chaos. Imagine Ava later reflecting on her quick thinking, drawing parallels to her own brushes with danger, adding depth to her character. Alexis, awakening to the horror, could experience a flood of emotions, gratitude toward Ava mixed with renewed wariness of Rick's instability. This incident might trigger a larger investigation, pulling in law enforcement and exposing Rick's motives, which could involve hidden alliances or desperate measures to cover up past crimes. It's a stark reminder of how fragile safety is in Port Charles, where old enemies lurk around every corner. In a more emotional vein, the episode brings a long-awaited family reunion as Nathan West finally meets his son, James West. For the first time, Nathan, beaming with a mix of joy and nervousness from his hospital bed, extends a warm greeting to the young boy. Yet, there's an undercurrent of uncertain James, with the intuitive sense that children often possess, might pick up on subtle cues that something isn't quite right. Perhaps it's a fleeting look in Nathan's eyes or an unfamiliar mannerism that plants a seed of doubt in James' mind, making him question if this man is truly his father. This meeting is laced with potential heartbreak, as Nathan tries to connect through stories or gentle questions, maybe sharing a cherished family anecdote to bridge the gap. James' reactions could range from tentative excitement to quiet reservation, foreshadowing bigger revelations about Nathan's return from the presumed dead. Adding to the complexity, Britt Westburn steps in as a protective force, desperately attempting to block Damian Spinelli from facilitating this encounter. Britt argues vehemently that Maxie Jones would never approve, citing concerns for James' emotional well-being amid the confusion. However, her stance rings false. Maxie, if aware, would likely be overjoyed at the prospect of Nathan's miraculous survival and reunion with their child. Why, then, is Britt so adamant? It could stem from her own tangled history with Nathan, or perhaps a secret agenda to maintain control over the narrative, inventing a new angle. Maybe Britt harbors undisclosed information about Nathan's resurrection, like experimental treatments or imposter risks, fueling her interference. Spinelli, caught in the middle, might waver but ultimately prioritize the boy's right to know. The drama intensifies as Elizabeth Liz Baldwin confronts Britt Westburn, potentially unraveling a web of deceit. Liz, with her sharp perceptiveness honed from years as a nurse and survivor of her own traumas, might stumble upon or overhear Britt's heated exchange with Spinelli. Armed with this snippet, Liz presses Britt for the truth, her questions cutting through the doctor's evasive responses. Britt, scrambling to cover her tracks, could spin a tale of misplaced protectiveness. But Liz isn't easily fooled. Her intuition tells her there's more at play. This confrontation might explode into a bombshell revelation, exposing layers of lies that no one in Port Charles is ready to face. Perhaps Liz connects dots from hospital records or past conversations, inventing a fresh detail like a suspicious medical file that hints at Nathan's true condition. The fallout could ripple through friendships and families, forcing characters like Maxie or Spinelli to confront uncomfortable truths. As the episode wraps, viewers are left on the edge, pondering how this exposure will alter alliances and ignite new conflicts. Next, we're exploring the heartfelt journey of Joe Palmieri as he navigates family bonds. In the wake of Monica Quartermaine's passing, the recent funeral for Monica Quartermaine brought an unexpected silver lining for the Quartermaine clan, with young Joe Palmieri stepping into the spotlight amid their collective grief. As he observed the family's remarkable solidarity during the somber event, it became evident that these ties run deeper than surface-level rivalries. Joe found himself forming genuine connections with key figures like Tracy Quartermaine and Ned Quartermaine, sharing quiet moments of reflection that hinted at a thawing in his guarded heart. Inventing a fresh layer to the scene, perhaps Joe even assisted in arranging some of Monica's cherished mementos at the service, a small gesture that symbolized his tentative embrace of his heritage. This experience could mark a turning point, encouraging Joe to open up further and integrate more fully into the fold. Fans are eagerly anticipating his next moves, hoping he'll extend that warmth to his biological parents, Brooke Lynn Quartermaine and Dante Falconeri, allowing them a chance to rebuild what was lost. The memorial's atmosphere, filled with poignant eulogies and shared memories, seemed to resonate with Joe, planting seeds of forgiveness that might bloom into stronger relationships over time. In the aftermath of the service, Joe shared a particularly touching exchange with Tracy, expressing his pride in being her great-grandson and acknowledging the profound legacy she's helped preserve. This admission wasn't just polite conversation. It carried the weight of someone rediscovering their roots after years of disconnection. While reconciliation won't happen overnight given the emotional hurdles, Joe faces there's optimism that he'll gradually warm to the idea of fully embracing his Quartermaine identity. He might even follow in his mother's footsteps by adopting the family name, a symbolic step that could solidify his place in their storied lineage. Adding a creative twist, imagine Joe discovering an old family journal during the gathering, filled with entries from Monica that echo his own aspiration, further fueling his sense of belonging. Such developments would not only honor Monica's memory, but also weave Joe more tightly into the fabric of Port Charles' most prominent dynasty, potentially leading to new storylines where he contributes to family decisions or traditions. During the reception that followed, Joe engaged in a meaningful dialogue with Ned, recognizing how his own musical talents might stem directly from his grandfather's renowned abilities as a performer. This realization sparked a spark of curiosity, with Joe perhaps envisioning future collaborations where they jam together on classic tunes or compose something original. It would be a dream for viewers to witness grandfather and grandson bonding over melodies, turning personal pain into harmonious healing. To expand on this, let's invent a detail where Ned pulls out a vintage guitar from Monica's collection, strumming a few notes that Joe instinctively harmonizes with on an imaginary violin, showcasing their innate connection. Such moments could serve as a bridge, helping Joe process his emotions through art rather than anger, and reminding everyone of the Quartermaines' artistic heritage that runs through their veins. Yet, beneath this budding warmth, Joe remains deeply scarred by the revelation of his adoption, feeling a whirlwind of hurt, bewilderment, and rage over Brooke Lynn's choice to give him up as an infant. For years, he was kept in the dark by his grandmother, Lois Trullo, who wove a web of deceptions that shattered his world when the truth emerged. The dramatic climax at the nurse's ball, where Joe destroyed his beloved violin in a fit of fury and lashed out at his parents for what he perceived as abandonment, still lingers as a raw wound. He accused them of simply not wanting him, a heartbreaking outburst born from misinformation and pain. Understandably, Joe requires space to heal, but it's crucial for him to grasp that Brooke Lynn's decision stemmed from profound, selfless love. Esh was just a teenager, ill-equipped to provide the stable life she dreamed for her child. Inventing an additional element, perhaps Joe stumbles upon old letters from Brooke Lynn during his time away, written in secret and expressing her enduring affection, which could soften his stance and prompt a reevaluation of her sacrifices. That fateful night of discovery led Joe to pack his bags and leave the Quartermaine mansion, without a backward glance, severing ties in a bid for independence and clarity. He distanced himself completely, seeking solace away from the family he felt had betrayed him. However, signs of progress emerged when Harrison Chase noticed Gio's interactions at the funeral, offering words of encouragement to Brooke Lynn to remain hopeful. Chase pointed out the positive strides Joe was making, suggesting that patience could yield a breakthrough. To add depth, envision Chase sharing a personal anecdote from his own family struggles, advising Brooke Lynn on subtle ways to reach out without overwhelming Joe, like sending thoughtful gestures tied to his interests in music. Tracy, with her characteristic blend of toughness and affection, has taken a special liking to Joe, viewing him as a bright spot in the family's turbulent history. She's determined to guide him toward forgiving Brooke Lynn and Dante, urging a return to the fold while respecting his autonomy. Tracy might employ her persuasive skills in gentle conversations, perhaps over shared cups of tea, to highlight the benefits of unity. Expanding creatively, Tracy could introduce Joe to lesser-known Quartermain lore, like tales of past reconciliations that mirror his situation, helping him see the value in mending fences. Gio's inclusion in the family's intimate moments, such as swapping stories about Monica and raising glasses in a heartfelt toast at the reception, revealed his growing openness to these relatives. His responses showed a willingness to engage, marking a promising shift from isolation to acceptance. It's a solid foundation for deeper connections. Inventing a new facet, maybe during the toast, Joe contributes a personal memory of Monica's kindness from afar, surprising everyone and strengthening the communal bond. Moreover, Joe has demonstrated unwavering loyalty to the Quartermains, far surpassing that of Drew Kane in recent conflicts. When Drew attempted to dismantle the family crypt, Joe stood firmly by Tracy's side, defending their heritage. At the Metro Court pool, Drew tried to bond by claiming shared experiences, but Joe rebuffed him sharply, a satisfying display of allegiance. Tracy, who would never permit Drew to claim the Quartermain name, might see Joe as a worthy successor. Adding an invented detail, perhaps Joe researches the crypt's history on his own, uncovering artifacts that reinforce his commitment and earn Tracy's deeper respect. Ultimately, the path forward for Joe lies in forging meaningful bonds with Brooklyn and Dante, opening his heart to the parents who've longed for this chance. It would be a beautiful evolution to see him welcome them in, creating a reunited family unit filled with potential for joy and growth. Next, we're delving into the legendary legacy of Luke and Laura's iconic wedding, uncovering fascinating behind-the-scenes tales that shaped soap opera history. In a recent episode of General Hospital, Laura Collins shared a nostalgic moment with her daughter Lulu Spencer, pointing out that the beloved Monica Quartermain was among the guests at Laura's historic wedding. To Lulu's father, Luke Spencer, Lulu, with her signature wit, quipped back that Monica attended along with the rest of the world, a clever nod to the massive audience that tuned in. This exchange served as a delightful reminder of how that November 17, 1981, ceremony captivated hearts across the nation, drawing in an astonishing 30 million viewers and etching itself into television lore as the most watched American soap opera episode of all time. To add a fresh layer to this scene, imagine Laura pulling out an old photo album during their chat, flipping to faded pictures of the event where Monica's smiling face stands out amid the glamorous crowd, sparking Lulu to reflect on how such grand spectacles influenced her own life in Port Charles. This playful banter not only highlighted the wedding's cultural impact, but also underscored the enduring bonds within the show's universe, where past events continue to ripple through current storylines, connecting generations of characters and fans alike. What many might not realize is that this monumental wedding wasn't originally slated to unfold. When it did, throwing the production team into a whirlwind of last-minute adjustments, the episode's timing was upended by an unexpected force from outside the soap world, leading to a rushed yet brilliant reconfiguration of the plot. Inventing a new element here, picture the writer's room in a frenzy, with storyboards being redrawn overnight and actors receiving emergency script changes via late-night couriers, all to accommodate this sudden shift. This deviation from the planned timeline added an extra thrill to the narrative, ensuring that Luke and Laura's union became not just a romantic climax, but a pivotal turning point that boosted the show's popularity to unprecedented heights. With General Hospital facing preemptions in recent weeks due to scheduling conflicts, it's the perfect opportunity to revisit these gems from the archives, reminding viewers why the series has maintained its grip on audiences for decades. Through such unforgettable milestones, diving deeper into the revelations from the era, former head writer Tom Rachina shared in the insightful book Super Soap Scenes, a time capsule of daytime drama's greatest moments, how the wedding's acceleration came about. Through an extraordinary intervention, Rachina recounted that the team had intended to delay the nuptials by another 6 months, to build more suspense, but everything changed when news of this postponement leaked. Suddenly, a high-profile call came in from none other than Hollywood legend Elizabeth Taylor, who was an avid fan of the Luke and Laura saga. In her distinctive, high-pitched voice, she vehemently protested, declaring that she had halted entire movie productions just to watch their unfolding romance, and she wouldn't stand for any delay in their happily ever after. "I'll be goddamned if you're not going to give me a wedding," she exclaimed, her passion for the storyline turning the tide. Rachina, seizing the moment, proposed that they would proceed with the wedding on one condition: Taylor herself must appear on the show. Her delighted giggle sealed the deal, transforming what could have been a routine plot extension into a star-studded extravaganza. Adding a creative twist, envisioned Taylor following up with a personal note to the writers, scribbled on luxurious stationery, expressing her excitement and suggesting subtle tweaks to make her cameo even more dramatic, which infused the episode with an authentic touch of Tinseltown glamour. Overnight, Rachina and his collaborator Leah Lyman scrambled to orchestrate the wedding's logistics, weaving in a bespoke role for the world's most glamorous movie star. Tasked with crafting all of Taylor's scenes, Rachina ingeniously introduced the character of Helena Casadini, the vengeful widow of Mikos Casadini, who infiltrates the joyous occasion under the guise of a guest. Her true motive: to cast an eternal curse upon Luke and Laura, a diabolical plot device that has echoed through General Hospital's narratives for decades, influencing countless twists and family feuds. This addition not only elevated the episode's stakes, but also created a villainess whose legacy endures, with Helena's shadow looming over Port Charles even today. To expand inventively, consider how Rachina drew inspiration from classic fairy tales for the curse element, blending it with Greek mythology to give Helena a timeless, ominous aura, perhaps incorporating subtle nods to ancient rituals in her dialogue that fans still dissect in online forums. The rapid integration of this character demonstrated the writer's agility, turning a potential delay into a masterstroke that captivated viewers and secured the show's place in pop culture history. One of Rachina's most entertaining memories from this whirlwind production involved Taylor's charming struggles with her character's name during rehearsals. The iconic actress repeatedly mispronounced Casadini as Casadine instead of the intended Casadine, leading to lighthearted moments on set that have since become treasured outtakes. These bloopers, now available in compilations, captured Taylor's frustration and humor as she turned to Rachina and pleaded, "Can't we just change my goddamn name?" Her candid exasperation added a human touch to the larger-than-life star, endearing her even more to the cast and crew. Inventing an extra detail, perhaps Rachina responded with a quick-witted compromise, suggesting a phonetic guide taped to her script, which led to shared laughter and impromptu coaching sessions that fostered camaraderie. Amid the high-pressure environment, watching these reels today offers a delightful glimpse into the fun chaos behind the scenes, reminding us that even legends like Taylor faced relatable hurdles, making the final polished episode all the more impressive. This behind-the-curtain peek into Luke and Laura's wedding not only celebrates General Hospital's rich history, but also highlights how unexpected influences can spark enduring storylines. From Taylor's fervent fandom to the birth of Helena Casadini, these elements have kept fans hooked for generations. What are your favorite memories from that era?